Let's get this out. There we go. Okay. Why did you do that? It does that a lot. There we go. That should have fixed it. Everybody think I'm crazy. My aim is a bit insane. That's what they think. I don't blame them. So I know one will remember your name. Because we ain't built this. That's such clever wordplay. I don't even know. Let's lose that for now. Should have updated on this end. Yep, there we go. Okay. Now we can switch back over. Get that all set up. Make sure that audio is working fine. Geeked up when I see you way, so you're chopped up like the beat chain. Think I fell off, but I fell off to the spot top when we think great. Go ahead, talk while I innovate. You get chopped up when I see the frame. It's great. I'm going to be listening to that later. Okay, are we live? Oh yeah, the testing ground. I forgot the testing grounds were this week. I forgot that. We may try it. We may try it. I may do one round of testing grounds just to see. Lark, you getting on yet?
Yeah, I'm getting on.
Oh yeah, and the Samurai won the first campaign. The first campaign of the season. Yeah. Good job, Samurai. You got it. You got the first win. Proud of you.
Saying that you might not be able to sing, but you sure can rap.
Oh, I can't sing. Y'all don't want to hear me actually sing.
You may want to explain where you're getting that rap.
No, that rap isn't mine. That's from another content creator. That's Daddy Fat Snaps and his song Triple Threat. I have written my own songs, but I cannot sing very well. Like if y'all have ever heard me sing, I sound cannibal.
We sing like frogs.
It's just one of those things. All right. Once Lark is ready, we'll get started.
I'm ready.
You're good?
Yep.
All right, well, let's dive into this wonderful For Honor Friday. We will do one round of the testing grounds. Wow, low acting. No one's doing this. I think that's gonna tell the devs a lot about how people feel about it. Man, everyone's playing Highlander because he got a new dodge attack. But let's see if it feels any different. I'll go in with my Highlander, and we'll see if it feels any different.
Person says, hey Raven Lark, how do you deal with the loss of one of your favorite content creators? Just lost one of my favorites and not feeling too good. I think he's talking about Technoblade.
I don't know Technoblade.
He was a Minecraft YouTuber, but I'm not sure that's who they're talking about.
Well, when one of my favorite content creators stops making content, it's not fun. I'm never happy about it. I'm disappointed, but I try to enjoy the things that they talked about anyway. I try to continue. I kind of become my own thing. Like, you know, it's funny thing. Like, that's kind of how I got my start on For Honor content creating, because no one that I could find was talking about the positives of For Honor. No one I could find was talking about what was good about it. A lot of people were just jumping on the bandwagon of bad game, it's bad. So I said, you know, I'm just going to become my own content creator. But I'm not saying that's what you have to do. I'm saying find the things you loved about the stuff they talked about and kind of carry on the memory. And try to look for other content creators who do it the same, if not close to as good.
Yeah, well, I think the issue here is, like, this one actually died.
Oh, he straight up died? That
yeah.
Sucks. Yeah. Believe me, that's no fun. Death is never a fun thing. Even though I write Death's Diary, it's not exactly an easy thing to get with. I can't think of any content creators that I know that have died. Or at least ones that I followed regularly. Alright, so we're starting off as Highlander. We're up against a Jormungandr, a Zhongjun, a Pirate, and on my team I've got another Highlander, a Raider, and a Centurion. Alright, let's see what these changes to the testing grounds will mean for us. The only thing I know is that the big change is that they're taking away guard breaks on offensive attacks. So, like, if my enemy throws an attack, I can't guard break them mid-chain or right after they throw that attack. They have to be able to block again. I don't know what... Basically, the idea is they're making it so that guard breaks, you can't just... I guess the idea is to try to counter some ganking situations where if you have one person stuck being ganked, they're afraid to throw an attack because they're worried if they do, they'll just get guard broken. So it's allowing for a more offensive playing style, but we'll just have to see. We'll have to see how this works. And I may not get into a situation where I can use it, you know, but we'll have to see. I just want to see if it feels different. Because genuinely for me, sometimes they make changes that I just don't notice all that much. It's kind of like, did they make a change? I don't know. But let's try this new, oh, that's the new dodge attack? Well, what makes it different than that? Like, ooh, light fairy.
Love your history videos, Red. Thanks for the good content from Lycos Normos.
Get on the ground. Oh, crap. Crap. What was the question? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, they were just saying they liked your videos.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate you saying that. That means a lot to me. I love making those videos. They're especially my heroes in history. Unfortunately, I'm down to my last one, at least until the new hero comes out. Got to do Warlord. That's the last one I've got on my list. And then after that, I got to wait for the new hero, and then I'll do that one.
This will make narrowing it down.
Yeah, I don't have to release polls saying, who should I do next? It's pretty obvious.
That one. Do that one. We worked really hard for all this content for Select Dead Game 1. Sometimes they do be like that, and I know exactly where you're at.
Get on the ground, son.
Best part of Jenny, and why is it Hannah?
Now, I thought that I lied at him, and that would be a... Oh, good move. Well, I tried. I have a feeling tonight's not going to be a good night. But so far, I'll say this, I don't really notice the difference. I don't feel compelled to ever use Highlander's dodge attack. I just don't feel compelled to do it. I don't feel like it makes that much of a difference to me. Oh God, only one of us has got me killed. Damn. Oof. That's a big oof. That's a big oof. Mm-hmm. But that's why every...
I like this. That's been answered in a most frequently asked question. Mid, manually posted.
Get on the ground, son.
Alright.
Hold on a second, Yorm.
Now they're saying you should do a historical dive with some of the minions on.
Hold on a second, Shinobi. I call this karma. But in Scotland, we just call it Friday. Alright. That's what Scottish do on Friday. They just shove their boot into the face of a weeb.
More likely an Englishman. But yeah.
Englishmen, weebs, they both cause cancer.
Needs more work. Just bow before the Highland Snake Diddler.
What's up, dude?
Hammer. Hammer, it's up. Because it's hammer time. Or what?
Ooh, good dodge. Oh, that's what it does. He couldn't just guard break me after my move. I like that. Oh, God. No, 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 no.
Not the nuts.
Man, I think someone was a little mad. I think someone was a little mad.
Just a little bit, though.
Just a little bit. Just a little. Yeah, okay. But, yeah, I see what that did. So, he couldn't guard. His instinct was after I missed with my grab, he wanted to go in for a guard break to punish me. But he couldn't because I was unable to block. So the new rules made it so that he couldn't guard break me and punish me for that miss. I see the applicability of that to help in anti-ganks, but that's going to be a pain in terms of duels. That's going to be a pain in terms of duels because that takes away a lot of your ability to punish someone. At least the way I did. Oh, God. Thanks, Pirate.
Hey, Raven, what would you recommend for making a power like the Warp, where everyone can use it?
What do you mean by recommended? Like, what do you mean by recommended?
If you were writing.
If I were writing? I mean, that's going to take a lot more context. Like, I would take inspiration from the Warp, but I wouldn't make it exactly like the Warp. I mean, are all four of you on the same guy? Have you no shame? Man, it goes to show how insecure you people are. Come on, fight me for real.
You lost, Zone A.
Oh, the dodge attack won it for me! Yes!
Oof.
Oh, that was...
What an upset.
Well, that was mean. That was a Scottish mean moment. Ooh, that was good. Ooh, okay, but... Yeah, in terms of creating a power like the Warp, I mean... Something that anyone could use... Well, that's the thing. Not anyone can use the Warp. You have to be trained and you have to be... You have to have, like, a connection.
They want you to even put that in a phase montage. They also wanted you to fire your laser. Like, sorry, we can only do that in Skyrim.
You know, Shinobi, I notice a trend. When your friends aren't around, you're not that intimidating.
I don't know. I had a friend last time and even then didn't do that.
I'm gonna go help out Raider over there. He's having trouble. He's dead.
Karen McDonald says, as a Scot myself, I do say that was beautiful.
Hi, guys. Oh, so the... Oh! Oh! Okay. Good job, Pirate! Woo!
You just made an enemy for life.
Well, what I love about that is you had to do it to one guy. That's an AoE attack. I would do it when it's two or more people. Get the maximum amount, but nah, you... okay. Alright. Alrighty then. I'm going back up to C. Gonna boost my zone. And, I might send a care package your way. Damn, I missed.
At least you're clearing out the zone B to a degree.
It's not enough, unfortunately.
Oh, you killed both of them, I think.
My fault! Ah!
Go revive him, dude.
Where is he? Oh, there he is. There he is. I didn't see him. I gotta clear out the minions first, or else they're gonna keep me from reviving. Ah, he got up.
Raven, would a Grim Reaper scythe be viable in an actual fight?
Probably not.
Not unless it's modified. No, it was a Rajput, that's what we want.
A Rajput is what I want.
You captured Zone A.
Ah, the light got me. Blinded by the light. Alright guys, come on, we can still win this. We can still do it if we just believe.
Believe.
Believe. Believe. or do it like Frank Sinatra. Do it like Frank Sinatra would say. Like, have it my way. And now...
We already established about the singing.
Oh, okay.
You captured Zone C.
Alright, just gotta hold this point. Hi, Jongjun.
Stand back, lads. He's got a big sword and he isn't afraid to use it. You're dang skippy. Raven Larks, is the new guard break mechanic equal, or is it good, or what?
I don't know how to call it right now. It seems very situational, if I'm being honest.
Raven Larks, the true question, what is the best cookie? Chocolate chip. Hey Raven, what weapons do Rajput use?
They use a ton of different kinds of weapons. The Rajput had a very large arsenal of exotic weapons. Like, they had Qatar punch daggers, which were basically like gauntlets that you would wear or hold, and they would have long daggers on the ends that you could use to punch and do damage with. They had Aura coiled swords, which think like a steel whip, which was bladed. They had long Kanda swords, which were these huge, burly swords. Bye.
You captured Zone C.
He's going to come back up. But they had a large variety of different kinds of weapons. Yeah, they're all ganking now to get their edge. Notice their new playstyle. They're just ganking up. Good job. I can do that too. Ooh, light parry. Got him. Oh crap, it's all on me. Nope. Dang. Oh, good. Oh, and there's the emote spam.
Yep.
Well, good job, Jormungandr. You had to hide behind half your team, but you totally earned it. And let's see if he quits. Let's see if my prediction holds true. Usually, I find that the ones who are toxic and emote spam the most are the ones who quit. So let's see if Jormungandr quits. What's his name? I gotta see. Because I don't remember his username. But let's find out. Let's find out.
Hey Raven, do you think that Astria is a good antagonist in the world of For Honor, and do you think that they were right to pick Griffin as the equal instead of, say, IU?
Astria's a fine villain. I don't have a problem with her. I just think she's inferior to Apollyon. And I think Griffin is a good fight for her. Well, yeah, sure. Alright, looks like Lionmon's planning on sticking around. Alright, let's go. Let's go. I'm excited. But I won't go Highlander this round. I'm going to go someone different. I've got to play as a samurai, so let me pick a samurai to play as.
What's the best weapon out of all the heroes, I guess, historically, not including the pirate's gun?
The best weapon historically would probably either be the longsword, the poleaxe used by the Lawbringer, or the spear / naginata that's used by either Valkyrie or Nobushi, because pole arms have historically always been very valuable and useful, so that would be my response to that. Alright, let's go...
No, it's not.
What?
They're asking if the Grim Reaper Scythe is viable in actual...
No, I already answered that. It is not viable. A Grim Reaper Scythe would not be viable in combat, okay? Because here's the thing about the Grim Reaper Scythe. If you think of a scythe, think of where the bladed portion is, where the blade actually is in terms of the scythe, right? That means that in order for you to get that cut that you really want, you need to... You've got to get it so that the enemy is inside the staff area. This isn't like a I'm trying the best way I can say this. A weapon's job should be to put a dangerous item between you and your enemy so that either they will not attack you because of the weapon or you will hurt them because they get within your range. With a scythe, I can't do that because in order for the scythe to work, I have to get them inside of the bladed area of the scythe, and that requires me to swing it out in a very awkward manner that would allow the blade to catch them and do enough cutting power. Now, if it were bladed on both sides, like inside and outside, then it might be more viable. But then, I don't know. I feel like at that point, you'd just be better off using an axe. You know? Because think about an axe. If you hold out an axe in front of you with the blade pointed away from you, that is still a dangerous weapon for someone to come running headlong at. With a scythe, though, you have to turn the scythe sideways with the bottom of the polearm facing them, and the blade that would actually be dangerous closer to you. So in order for that blade to even be an effective counter, it has to be closer to you, taking away some of that limitation. And you might think, well, what about other weapons like Conqueror? So like, look at the way Nobushi's standing right there. Nobushi's standing with her blade pointed at her opponent. With a scythe, you have to turn it around and hold the blade back behind you, kind of like what the Lawbringer's doing. The difference, though, is if Lawbringer were to turn that axe to face his opponent, it would still be a blade between you and the opponent.
Another point is, historically speaking, when scythes were used in combat, they were modified. They would basically break apart the scythe and turn it into a spear.
Yeah, like, you wouldn't actually want to use a legit scythe. Or sickle. But whatever. Alright, going in with Nobu. Let's see if this makes any difference. Probably won't, but we'll see. And, who am I up against? Oh, Lionmon, the Jormungandr from last time, is now a Conqueror. What a surprise. I'm stunned.
Hey, Lord, given your distaste for Sean Hastings in AC3, could you do a little lamentation against him? He's not worth the effort. If, maybe, I've been talking about maybe doing a little, video where I maybe just go through some more problems about AC3. I might dig into him more a bit there if I do that, but considering what the other, lamentations I have on my plate, I'm not gonna do it.
Holy crap. Yeah, he would pick a Conqueror. You know, in most of the matches I've played of For Honor since this new season, I see so few people wanting to play Conqueror anymore. Except for, like, the really toxic people who just want that easy win. And I can see why. Conk is just not fun. He's not fun to play against. He's not fun to play as. It's too easy.
Oh, the historical war side? Those are basically the modified sides I was talking about. Guys, but I think Mark and Raven judged AC3 a little too harshly. You're allowed to think that.
You're allowed to think that.
Yeah, if you like the game, more power to you. It's just me and Raven had several problems with that. But no, don't let us not liking a game distract from you enjoying it.
If you like it, go for it. But we think it's a bad game. We think it misrepresented American history in a very biased light. Someone tried to point out in the comments that we were too biased. I'm sorry, but look, we all have our biases, but you can't argue that they weren't biased. You know?
The thing is, it's like a lie of omission. Like the problem is, like they showed one thing and then they didn't develop it enough really to work with it a little bit more. And my issue is they were willing to throw crap on America, basically see how imperfect they were, see how bad they were, but the Italian city-states, like, we're in completely fine, don't need to show any of the skeletons in the closet or any of the families. Ottoman Empire, completely sweet and clean, don't need to worry about that. America, we gotta run through the ringer. And I don't mind it running through the ringer, but I want you to do it properly.
Oh man, I'm not having good luck tonight, guys. Have I gotten yeah, apparently I've gotten the kill assist. But I'm just not having good luck tonight. I don't know what's wrong with me.
How are you guys biased? Well, me and Raven are both very...
We're both American. We both love the Revolutionary War and its history. And we both think that George Washington was a fantastic leader. Not the best military strategist, but a fantastic
Absolutely
leader.
not. Like, but he is instrumental in holding the nation together. And the continent.
Well, like, I think my issue was, like, they kept saying stuff like, oh, George Washington is a floundering, incompetent, and he is always indecisive, and he's always second-guessing himself. He's a terrible leader. But but the game never tries to show the opposite of that.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, there were criticisms of him at the time, but he also did have things, like, he did have good qualities, too. Like, he was good at, like, when he got a hold of the Continental Army, calling it an army was a compliment. It was a gaggle. It was a bunch of farmers that had come together with guns, and he had to turn them into a professional military. And so he actually, like, if you look at his diaries and letters, he's saying, like, I had no idea it was going to be this hard. And so he has to put them together. He has to get them to start up. Another thing that he has that's a benefit is, and this might come from his indecisiveness, he's willing to listen to his junior officers. A lot of officers at the time, like, I know what I'm doing, I'm always right, you can't judge me. George Washington was willing to consider the advice of his junior officers, and he was good at picking talent under him to help him out. And not to mention, my favorite story of his is when the Continental Army is mutinying after the war's over because they're not getting paid. He gets them all to start crying and apologize, saying, "We'll never, we love you, George. Don't leave us." Hilarious. I have a strange feeling that a cultist warrior wielding a scythe will come to for honor.
No, I don't really think so, nor care. Man, I'm not doing good at all. Maybe I'm just playing all the wrong heroes, or maybe I'm not as good as I thought.
Well, according to Needs More Work, he says, I don't know, Raven, last match you did great, even if you lost.
I tried, for sure.
Well, you did alright.
How's my favorite doing? Like, how's my buddy Lion? He's doing okay. Oh, well.
Hey, Raven, though R6 is not as cool like before, how would you feel if Bishop, default player look from Rainbow Six Vegas 2, was in the game?
I don't care for Siege. I don't know enough about Vegas 2, so I can't answer that.
Yep. Do you have an interest in the Napoleon?
Not really. I hit the wrong button. This is a long execution. Shoot.
I think you might be able to get away with it, though. And you got away with it.
I don't know how I did that.
Oh, they were probably executing, too. Will you do a top 10 video for characters you made?
I could do that.
Hey Raven, what's your opinion on Shad's stick as a weapon?
I think it's funny.
Phenomenal. 10 out of 10. Best weapon there is. Can't beat the stick. Are there any interesting games about the Napoleonic Wars? Not real-time strategy, so a Napoleon Total War is out then? Okay, then there goes my pick.
Dang it.
That was the only one I was truly familiar with.
I don't really care as much about the Napoleonic Wars. It never really interested me.
Ooh, do you think the Byzantine warriors or the Roman legionnaires look cooler? That's a rough one.
I'm gonna go with the Romans.
Like the stereotypical segmentata legionnaires, I think, look the coolest.
Yeah, I think the Roman legionnaires look the best, personally.
Not that the Byzantine soldiers look bad, but just like there's a reason that style's iconic and it's typically the default.
Y'all notice that they're all playing very hard-hitting, hyper armor using warriors, right? Like, man, this is some cringe fight. This is a cringe match.
Lost Zone C.
What's the next crossover event you'd like to see come to For Honor?
I don't know. I don't even know what crossover event would work for Honor. Alright, I better go up to A or C or turn something around.
The Warriors haven't had a chance to shine at anything. Well, that may change one day. Who put that hole there?
You had to pull that out. Man. Well, guys, I think it's going to be one of those nights. How'd I do overall? 6 kills, 6 deaths.
Well, you're the top.
And there's the emote spam!
Well, it's in a conqueror's nature. Look, if the Highlander was going to go ahead and, like, I'm done with you, boy.
Just, God, that's cringe. Well, I'm done with testing grounds. I didn't notice enough different to care. Like, everyone's going, oh, this is going to ruin For Honor, or, oh, this is going to save For Honor. I didn't notice enough different to care. Conqueror's still broken as shit. Highlander's dodge attack is there, but I don't really notice it all that much. And all of the hyper armor unblockable users are still annoying to fight. So, I'm out. Going back to normal Dominion. Alright. Back to the degree of normalcy. So, like, anyone saying, so what do you think of the new testing grounds? What new testing grounds?
Exactly.
Genuinely, I'm sure someone like Marco Yolo or Jean Delier or Slanderous or Freeze, they could all give you much better explanations as to what you're seeing and what's going on in the new testing grounds, like how it works, whether it's good or not. They could probably tell you tons of information that I simply cannot about how it's good or bad. Me, I'm just like, it is indeed an event. I grant you, it is indeed there, but I didn't notice anything different. I mean, there was that one moment where it really worked out in my favor when I was playing Highlander, but other than that, I just didn't notice anything. People say, oh, Highlander has a dodge attack. I didn't care. It didn't look that good to me. It just looked like one of his other abilities, and so I genuinely didn't really care about it. The guard break thing, again, I didn't notice it all that much. But I will say this, even though I'm glad that they nerfed Conk a little, I don't think it's enough. Conk is still incredibly irritating. But then again, to be fair, the entire team we were playing against was irritating. I mean, you had a Hitakiri, a Highlander, a Conqueror, and a Zhang Jun. Like, all heavy hitters who can deal massive damage, have hyper armor, have unblockables out the freaking ass, and can feint most of them. Like, do you really think that's going to turn out well for anyone? Oh my gosh, and I'm joining a match where we're already losing. Oh, yeah, tonight is going to be one of those nights, ladies and gentlemen. If we have any ladies here, I'll add ladies to the statement. Because I'm sure Hannah's not watching anymore, so. And I
haven't seen her post anything.
Yeah, I don't think Hannah's watching anymore. She's probably going back to drawing.
You captured.
All right.
Oh, hi, Kyoshin.
All right, let's see.
You lost zone A.
So, more I want to say, Raven, I love your latest Legends, because not only do I love Orochi, but the fact that you added Ruth, and it makes it feel more like a world instead of just singular stories. Yeah, it's good. Do you think that if the Emperors of Rome selected Praetorians from the veterans of the Legion, there would have been less corruption throughout the Guard? Not necessarily so, because some emperors did do that. As time went on, they would still get corrupted. But Praetorian, as like a concept, was kind of inherent to corruption. Hey Raven, I would like to inform you, you have pulled me out of My Hero Academia and into SpyX family, so thank you very much.
I'm glad you enjoy that. Alright, let's go die to someone else. Hi, Shaolin. Me now. I'm very tempted to just switch to PvAI for the night. This is getting frustrating.
If we need to do that, we can.
Well, I know that won't be what my fans want. Because hey, even when I switch to playing Breach for the night, people are like, why are you playing against the AI? And I'm tired of answering that question.
I typically don't see that pop up in chat.
I've seen it pop up before. Because you keep in mind, usually when they ask that, sometimes you're not even here. Sometimes you're at your game night.
Yeah, true.
Oh, he got me killed. No.
Zone C.
Raven, once the Legend series is... you took away the comment first. Raven is older than me, so... Yeah, he's older than me by 3.5 years.
Finally got a kill.
There we go.
And I earned it.
Okay, Raven, once the Legend series is done, will you make more characters to interact with the others?
I might. It depends. I'm always making new characters.
That's the fun.
Oh, come on. Give me more health back before I fight you again.
Do you think that having siblings helps one mature faster due to interactions?
I think you learn a lot more from having siblings.
But I guess every family's different, we'll see. Good stuff.
She really shouldn't have tried to add her corruption while out of stamina. That opened me up. That was a very poor decision.
Hey Raven, do you have a particular favorite set of Warmonger armor, excluding Apollyon?
I've got a few that I like.
You actually recently, you can show them later, but you made it to Tonic Knight.
Yeah, I did make it to Tonic Knight. Oh, we just lost one. Who'd we lose? I don't know, but they just died, so it doesn't really matter.
Dylan Peterson says, I think Raven's voice is lovely.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
You hear that? You've been complimented.
Ah, why is it always you? Okay.
She doesn't know.
Okay, you want to use a feat? I'll use a feat too.
However, that feat makes no sense since there's nobody else around to help.
You lost Zone A.
The feat makes sense because if you have the second feat to go with it, she can heal each time I take damage while corrupt.
Ah, okay. We got you, Cruz. We got you.
You captured Zone A.
Oh, here's interesting. Hey Raven, there was official lore on the Wulen as to why we don't see their minions and officers. It's because during the Sunda event, the Draconite fire explosion completely demolished the Wulen force.
Oh my god, really?
Lost Zone C.
Oh my... Thanks, Pirate. Thanks. Well, I'm sure you're proud of yourself now. You finally killed me. Bye. Oh, you want to thank your husbando there? Oh my lord. Okay, what was that? I'm sorry. That pissed me off.
They were saying that there was official lore on the Wulen as to why there's no minions. It's because most of them died in the explosion during the Sunda event.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
That's unbelievably stupid, and they should be ashamed of that excuse. Wanna know why that's stupid? No, wanna know why? Wanna know why? Because the Wulen were in for honor well before the Sunda event. So where were the minions before the Sunda event? And you mean to tell me you were so ill-equipped all of your minions died during that event? It was one explosion in one area that you controlled. No, that's stupid. That's a cheap explanation. You should try again.
Oh. Let's see. Oh, they're asking when we're going to pick up the fashion contest again. We kind of forgot about that. Yeah, we can get back to that.
Nah.
Nah, okay.
Well, I'm not on Discord enough anymore to do it. After the whole drama and all that crap happened on Discord, I only show up on Discord every now and then when Lark says, hey, someone has a question for you,
or when I'm making a brief announcement. Guys, after that whole Discord fiasco happened, I'm barely on it anymore. I don't care anymore. I let them kind of do what they want on Discord, and I just ignore it. And because some of those people are still there. Like, they try to bait me into these kind of things all the time. I don't want any part of it. Sometimes I'll answer a question if it comes up, but what we did with the fashion contest was I encouraged people to send in their fashion designs onto the Discord, and we judge them. But genuinely, Discord left such a bad taste in my mouth. I'm not even sure I want to go back to it, even to do that. It's just really annoying right now. It's nothing against you guys, genuinely. I'm just tired of Discord. I'm tired of the toxicity that came with it. I got really hurt, like genuinely, I got really hurt that a lot of people who I thought were my fans, who I thought were intellectual, thought were friendly towards me, or friends at least, treated me no different than the students I taught as a teacher, which made me leave the profession. And a lot of them, when I would call them on this, or say, why are you trolling me, why are you treating me like this, you know I don't like it, a lot of them just go, you're too sensitive, brah, you're too sensitive, it's all just trolling, you need to get over it. And I'm like, but the fact remains, this is my Discord, and you joined because I thought that you had integrity and respect for what I did, but it seems you don't. So, genuinely, again, nothing against y'all, it left a very bad taste in my mouth. What do y'all think? Yeah. If y'all really want the fashion contest to come back, I'll think about it. Lark, you have an input on that?
Yeah, we can bring it back. It don't bother me either way. We did ban a few of them, LaBoge.
We banned a few, but one legit came back. A piece of drama happened when I dared to go back to Discord not too long ago to try to look at some stuff that people were saying. I got into a debate with one of them. Debate, argument, whatever you want to call it. And I pointed out that he has been being a troll to me for a while. And then someone wrote, I didn't see this comment until Lark pointed it out to me, where someone said, hey, I left this Discord, but I came back when I heard that this drama was going on, and I just wanted to see it. I'm loving it. So some of those people still sneak back in. I don't know how, but they do. Sorry, I don't mean to make this all depressing.
Yeah. Guy says, I understand why you don't get as involved anymore. However, I will say you certainly manage your server better than Slanderous. His fans called me a pedophile when I shared a pic with me, and I'm assuming younger brother.
Well, I don't really manage the server. What I did was, when people started acting out, we just banned all the people who were doing it. Well, no, we didn't even do that. We banned a few of the ringleaders who were doing it.
And they followed.
And so what they did was here's how the events went down. We banned one person who was acting out. This caused a lot of people in the Discord to call me overly sensitive and to mock me for it and all that kind of stuff. One of them said, ban me next, ban me next. And we went, okay, so we banned him. And people said, oh man, you're still too sensitive, you don't understand trolling, blah, blah, blah. So I was talking with Lark about the possibility of just getting rid of Discord. Like saying, if this is the way people are going to treat us, why should we even have Discord? Hold on. So I talked to Lark about the possibility of just getting rid of Discord. So I released a thing saying, hey, we're thinking about getting rid of Discord. We're probably going to do that. Sorry about that, guys. It's just gotten too toxic here, and this isn't what I wanted it to be. Some people were upset and were saying, no, please don't get rid of it. We really like it here. Don't worry about the haters, that kind of thing. But then one person, I won't say his name, said, don't worry, guys. I've already made a Discord for everyone to come join. And that was when we were like, okay, fine, whatever. So what we did was we took away his admin privilege because he was an admin on the Discord. And that was the final straw for some of them because they were saying that I was way too sensitive and taking things way too seriously. So they lost their minds on me and they said, no, this is wrong. And So they did build a new Discord server, and the title of it was something about warriors for a overly sensitive YouTuber. Clearly a title meant to insult. So I banned him who created it, and I officially left Discord after that. I just haven't done with this. So that's how that all went down. I made a whole video, an update video, talking about the situation.
Oh, and Dragonslayer wanted to clarify, apparently the For Honor's devs' way of getting out of the fact that the Wulin warriors were around earlier was by saying that they were the 4 Wulin that arrived were the first initial force, like the Vanguard, that arrived before the event.
I still don't buy it.
Yeah, it's still kind of a cop-out.
And he bled out.
Never mind, we won't give him the opportunity.
You captured zone C.
I wish Hannah was still watching. I'm playing her baby.
She does like some Peacekeeper, doesn't she?
Hannah loves Peacekeeper. Get up, you fool! Aha! If you get that reference, you're awesome.
Yeah. I agree with Matt Francis. It's just an excuse for them not to put any effort into making minions or officers for the Wulin.
Yeah, and I don't blame them entirely because the Wulin, I feel like, was a failed experiment. They wanted to see how the fans would react to a new faction, and the community gave them shit for it. Saying, we don't like the Wulin, you should have added stuff to the current factions. You need to balance the game. We don't like this. Wulin a cop out and it's a cash grab. People are still calling the Wulin a cash grab to this day, which I just think is hysterical. It's like, you're calling it a cash grab, but you are aware that Ubisoft is a company that thrives off of making money, so it only makes sense that they'd release content with the purpose of making money, right? That's kind of how that works.
Cruz, we remember you. In your opinion, which hero has the most brutal execution?
Dude, that's a hard one.
There's so many of them.
There's so many of them. Pizza Kiri has a few that I think are incredibly brutal. Jormungandr too. Like that one where you punch them and the thing goes through the throat. Like, that's just mean.
Oh, I'm trying to get the Geist is asking.
Okay, bye.
Geist is asking if you have any tips for Peacekeeper. He's just getting into her.
Peacekeeper, best thing you can do is once you get that bleed going, when you're about to do your unblockable heavy because of the bleed, feint it into guard break like that. And one thing that a lot of Peacekeeper mains don't know is that after you do the unblockable heavy, you can do a light right after it. Ah, Shaolin, you killed me too. Why'd you go and do that, Shaolin? It wasn't very nice.
Wasn't very nice.
Oh, I'm doing good this match, but then again, I'm playing PK, who's really strong. PK's one of the better assassins, I think.
I remember back in the early days when PK was like, was a god amongst men. Like that, you remember like back before they got the gear system fixed, and like there was like an exploit with it.
Yep.
Hey Raven, I was wondering, is Kyoshin a hard class to get the hang of for a filthy casual like myself?
Not really.
I suppose there's a bit of a learning curve to some of it, but I wouldn't say it's as harsh as some other characters.
Oh god. Aramusha got me. But that's only my third death. That's not too bad, I'd say. Kyoshin's not hard to figure out. It's countering Kyoshin that's hard to figure out.
All right, any tips for JJ?
Nothing concrete, I'd say. I don't know if I can
Let
give...
the monkey take control.
With JJ, what I like to do is I like to do dodge heavies and then feint into and then soft feint into a light from the other direction, and then follow with an unblockable heavy and not feint it to try to bamboozle him.
Captured Zone C.
Bamboozle, my boys.
It doesn't always work.
So, which Roman Emperor is your favorite? Let's see. Early Rome, Augustus, later Rome.
Oh, this is gonna be sweet. Hold on. Ah, break the leg. Yeah. Bop. Get a haircut, yeah, hippie.
Turning into the soldier from TF2.
I do not have time to combust. Where's the last one? Ah, I didn't even see that. Where is he? Oh, there you are, Shaman. Better start running, honey.
Aurelian's pretty cool, yeah. Hey, Raven, why do you think some Kyoshin joined both sides of the war? My running theory is that because they believe that if they just one side will keep the balance of good and evil people. Got any headcanon for that?
I have a few theories. Bye.
Victory.
And now we shall pray. I love the signature. Yes.
I think my favorite person that you have it with is Shugoki.
I don't have it with Shugoki.
Oh, you should. You should.
I should have it with Shugoki though.
Because that's just peak comedy right there.
That is peak comedy. All right. Anything else going on in chat? Now that we've gotten over all that drama.
Stuff's still rolling in.
Good. And it looks like we've got around 65 viewers right now. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna play as a samurai and a assassin, so that means either Shinobi or Orochi. It's gonna be rough because I'm not good at either of those. Then again, pick a character I am good at, and you could probably name them off on 3 fingers.
But fun facts about me, I do not have respect for people in video games if they are on the opposite side of my team. I will use anything to make sure I and my team win, besides hacking, of course.
Well, then you have that much respect.
Oh, there you go.
You have enough respect to at least say I won't hack the enemy team.
Yeah, I know some people that can't even do that.
All right, we'll go Orochi.
This is an aesthetic question. Raven, what's your favorite color combo? Mine's black and bright green.
Mine is crimson and black.
Yeah.
I like crimson and black. That's a good look right there. Whoa, what is with this rainbow? The Rainbow Navigator? That's your name? Okay.
Oh, here's a question from Cruz. Do you ever have a loadout that you have set for all of your heroes, like basically a color palette that all the heroes would share?
No. I don't have one of those.
Didn't think.
Each hero is kind of unique to me. I don't want them all to have matching sets. I mean, I just feel like that'd be kind of silly, wouldn't it? Unless I just really want my teammates and my opponents to know, hey, this is Raven Knight's character, and then at that point I'm kind of like, oh wow, the fact that I chose Orochi made 10 people leave the video. Like, we're out, we're done.
Oh, heck no.
Huh?
I said, oh, heck no.
Oh hell no, he's playing Orochi? That's toxic right there. That's toxic. We ain't playing no Orochi. I ain't doing no Orochi.
Hey Raven, do you hate Chimera and Horkos lore?
Doesn't bother me. I think that Chimera and Horkos is an interesting idea because let's face it, guys, the faction war as it was is irrelevant now. No one cares about the samurai versus Viking versus knights anymore because it's just irrelevant. So they have to come up with a new reason for everybody to fight, And I think the Chimera and Horkos conflict is a good idea. Creates a new conflict, and it explains why certain would fight alongside each other despite being from different backgrounds and cultures. Because the credos and ideologies of the two factions, Horkos and Chimera, will clash, but still be understood by many different peoples. I think my issue with it, though, is the fact that both are so black and white, evil versus good. Chimera is the inclusive, goody two-shoes, wants to find peace no matter what, whereas Horkos is the literal, cannibalistic, evil, totalitarian, tyrannical dictatorship. You know, it's the... I would rather it be a duel of ideologies rather than a pure-on, mustache-twirlingly evil versus baby-kissing good thing, you know? At least that's just the way I see it.
Yep. I'm in agreement with that. That's toxic. Like goblins. I did that reference.
Oh, crap. Oh, crap. Oh, crap.
Came here to have a good time, and I feel like so attacked right now.
Ah! Lawbringer!
Why no?
Because they want to win.
Fair enough.
That was kind of mean, though, not gonna lie.
For another writing question, how would you give any tips to someone who's writing a character whose main motivating force is revenge for like dead loved ones?
You lost Zone C.
It's going to depend a lot on context. Like,
You captured Zone A.
there are lots of ways you could play that. And it depends on what you want from the character. Got him.
You ruined something special there, Sent. You ruined something special.
There, I'm dead. You killed me. Aren't you proud of yourself? Honestly, when writing revenge-based stories, the key is to understand what you want from your character. Do you want your character to get revenge? If so, how will they get it? And how will they feel after getting it? Or two, do you want them to realize revenge isn't the right path? And if that's what you want to do, how are you going to make them realize that, and who or what will help them realize it? Oh, I was going to help you there, Val, but okay.
I didn't need no help.
Crap.
They want to back away out of that one, Val. Oh, they got it.
Run away!
As an originally main, it isn't as toxic as when they play correctly, aka use the right trigger. And when they spam the same moves, you can read them and win no sweat. Yeah, but they can be toxic. Like any player, any hero, I don't think it necessarily has to be played toxically. But it's just like when you find something to kind of just abuse.
Crap.
You lost Zone A.
Hey Raven and Lark, what were your favorite games growing up? Funny.
Did I not just release a video talking about that very specifically?
Yeah, he released a his top 10 favorite video games, but specifically growing up, probably our favorite one would have been the Sly Cooper games or the first Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Yeah, those would probably be it.
Because we were PS2 kids.
We were. I think I released a video talking about that.
Yes, you did. However, you cover more modern games in that one.
Maybe y'all are just better at fighting sense than I am, because I feel like y'all have killed him way more easily than me. Yeah, because he's killed me twice, but I'm the only 2 people he's killed.
I think deep down inside we were all PS2 kids, guys. I feel a kid that hollowed out a PS2 and turned it into a lunchbox. Why did he do this? I don't know. Raven, what do you think is worse, the Star Wars sequel series or the Twilight series?
Hold on.
He's in a bit of a sticky wicket.
Dang it! I almost had them, and then This is so wrong. Fighting as a team of 2 against any one person who comes up against you. Clever, but very annoying. We're gonna lose this one. Anyway, what was the question? Sorry.
Let's see. Which was worse, the Star Wars sequel series or the Twilight series?
Sequel series. I walked into Twilight knowing I wasn't gonna like it.
One lied to you.
You lost Zone A.
Light spam me, you dirtbag. Good job, Sin. You attacked a wounded warrior and won. I'm sure you're proud of yourselves, you and your tattooed legs. And now you're fighting us near our spawn zone, too. Yeah, y'all are brave and powerful, truly. Truly the best of warriors. And it looks like Valkyrie's just gone and quit. You're dead.
What's our favorite AC game? You're gonna have to wait until the end of the series, man.
Yep, gotta wait until we finish it.
You captured Zone A.
I feel good about that kill. I feel real good. Threw a kunai into the back of a guy who stabbed me in the back. Yeah. That always feels good.
Theological question here. I recently converted to Catholicism, and so I'm new to the Bible. When Eve ate the forbidden fruit, did she condemn humankind to inevitable sin and death?
The phrasing there is dangerous because many people would use that to argue that, well, then we don't deserve it because why should the sins of Eve impact us? Hold on. I hate Python Centurions. Anyway, here's the thing to keep in mind about that. By Eve and Adam both eating of the fruit, it proved a point. That when given the opportunity to disobey for personal gratification, they would. It showed the inherent weakness and internal sin of man. And thus, it proved to God that mankind was not worthy of these gifts because they had been tainted now. Their decision to rebel and oh gosh, you guys are so good. Please don't gank. I don't want you to gank because then people will think you're not good, and I don't want people to get that impression. Guys, why'd you gank? Why'd you gank? See, look at that. You're emote spamming. You're ganking. People will think you're bad. People will think you're bad when you do that. Please don't. It'll prove you're. Well, I guess people are gonna think you're bad. So, how many wins have I got tonight? 1. Oh my gosh. Oh my, 4 kills, 7 deaths. Okay. Okay. Well, I kind of knew I wasn't going to win that.
Okay, so point being, people like to say that it's not right for God to judge the whole of humanity by the actions of Eve and Adam. But let's keep a few things clear here. Eve was corrupted by the devil, the serpent, which proved that which proved that humanity was inherently weak to pleasures presented to them. Adam ate the fruit because Eve offered it, showing that humanity was ingrained to be corrupted by other humans. In doing so, they ate of something that they should never have eaten. And the snake warned them, if you eat from this, you will die. You will not die. But God warned them, if you do, you will die. Now, not right then and there, but it would bring death into the world, because by eating this, you've disobeyed me. And you will inevitably die. You will gain knowledge, but you will die as a result. And so they made that choice, condemning not only themselves, but every offspring that would come later, which means all of humanity. As the progenitors and the beginners of humanity, it was their responsibility to represent mankind in the Garden of Eden, and they disobeyed God. So the common anti-Christian point is that, oh, well, Eve did it, you shouldn't blame anyone else for it. Technically, but they were also the original creations of God, had a personal, close relationship with God, where they walked in the garden with God and still disobeyed him. So that is something to keep in mind. Lark, do you want to add anything to that?
I think you summed it up very well.
Right, because I think that that's something that we need to keep in mind. Like, people often say, I wouldn't sin or do wrong if I knew God existed. Well, Adam and Eve not only knew God existed, they had conversations with him. They walked in the garden with him. They were literally created by his hands. They knew God and still sinned anyway. And that was, I think, proof positive to God, like, they're sinful.
Interesting question. Why would it make humanity so flawed in the first place? Well, that's just the thing with free will.
Okay, so people always ask, why would God make humanity flawed? Okay, that's the concept of free will. God, actually, you know what, I'm going to use an example. Ever heard of the Stepford Wives? How much of y'all know about the Stepford Wives? Look it up sometime. It's a horror book. Basically, these men got together and decided that they were tired of their wives wanting things from them. They were tired of their wives desiring things for themselves. They wanted the wives to just be good and loving and never complain. So what they did was they made this way of making the wives completely subservient, completely obedient to everything they wanted. They would do nothing but basically take care of them, hold true to their values and their ways of thinking. But what happened was, it felt wrong. These smiling, pretty, very obedient wives, it didn't feel like real love anymore. It didn't feel like a real relationship, because all they were doing was just saying yes to everything. Another good example is in the anime that I watched, Ultramaniac. There's this bit where Ayu, the main girl, she wants this guy to fall in love with her. So her friend, who's a witch, makes a pill that she wants to give to the guy that will make him fall in love with Ayu. She gives it to the wrong guy, and it turns into wacky hijinks. But the witch says, oh, don't worry, I'll give it to the right guy this time. And Ayu goes, please don't. Because even though he would act like he loved me and it would make me happy, I would know it wasn't real, because it wasn't really him. It was the influence of magic. Now, let's take that with God. Why would God make us flawed? He didn't make us flawed. He gave us free will. He gave us the power to decide things for ourselves. Because God wants us to love him of our own free will. He doesn't want us to do it because he demands it. He doesn't want us to do it because he has a control over our lives. He wants us to do it because we made that choice ourselves, because it's more meaningful that way. Hold on. The lights. Anyway. So God wanted us to be able to make the choice for him ourselves. He wanted us to say, I choose God because I love him. Not God saying, hey, you're going to do it. I'm the puppet master. You're going to do what I say. Now the good thing about free will is that it means that we are the masters of our own destiny. We can decide, hey, I'm for God, against sin, that kind of thing. You make those choices yourself. But the downside is that we can make the choice for our self-destruction. That's the downside of free will. Now, we might say, well, then why wouldn't God intervene like any loving father would? Okay,
Do you need Dad to hold your hand every day of your life?
He sent his own son down.
Yes, I'm getting to that. Now the point is, the whole idea is, wouldn't God try to make a way to keep us from ending up like that? That takes away the reality of our choice. So he sinned. Now the idea is, because we sinned, we're damned to hell. Like, the whole point is we're going to hell because of this, because since heaven, God cannot allow sin into heaven. So he made a sacrifice for us, because without the shedding of blood, there can be no redemption of sin. The old way that the Jews used to do it was the Jewish people used to make sacrifices to be forgiven of their sins. That was the old way of doing it. But God provided his own son, Jesus Christ, so that whoever believes in him and believes in the sacrifice he made would not perish, but be able to live forever, because they be cleansed of sin. Hold on. Gotta deal with this. That's why Jesus is called the Lamb, because he was the blameless lamb who was killed for our transgressions. That is the choice. Now again, there's the free will. We have the free will to choose God. We have the free will to choose Jesus. God's not going to force that decision. That would be wrong. He wants us to choose him because of who he is, and because of what he offers, and because of what that represents. But he's not going to force that decision on us.
You captured Zone
That
A.
would be wrong. Oh, crap. Thanks, Kensei. You're real good. Anyway. Well, nah, I'm real bad. So, that's the reality of how Christianity works. It is not a matter of just, oh, you're damned to hell because you're a bad person. It's the reality that God loves us so much that he wants to save us from that. But we have to make that choice.
Okay. Here's an interesting follow-up question. The guy that asked that initial question there really liked that answer. Those were just like, so like, God created Lucifer too, and it was Lucifer who corrupted Adam and Eve. Why did God punish the humans who were tricked rather than Lucifer? Lucifer did get punished.
Lucifer is punished. Lucifer was cast out of heaven. Lucifer was once the most beautiful of all of God's angels. That's why his name is Lucifer. It means the bright one, or the one who is most brilliant.
Or light bringer.
Right. And he basically said, you know what, I'm so awesome and I'm so great, I could take God's place. I could sit on God's throne and do all the things he does, maybe even better. And he had a lot of angels who agreed with him and said, yeah, totally, yeah, you are. And God said, no. No, you're not. You are the created. And the created cannot sit on my throne. I am God. You are an angel. You are my servant. And so he was cast out of heaven along with all of his supporters. And now he is wandering around on earth. Oh, crap. Get away from me. Light me. Light me. Light me. Stop heavying. You need to light me. There we go. You got a heavy in.
You lost.
All right. Anyway, I'm not having a good night. I'm really having a terrible night. Where was I? So Satan was cast out too. Satan was punished, and now Satan is basically the equivalent of a spoiled brat.
You
He
lost.
basically got punished by Dad, and now he can't handle it.
Well, yeah, and another issue to point of that is, like, they got punished, like, because here's the thing. God laid down the rules in the Garden of Eden. Like, there's this tree, don't eat from it. Here's the consequences that are going to happen. And then the serpent tricked them. Now, Genesis, like, there's more to it than just the surface level understanding. But beyond that, is let's say that if you look at it from a father perspective, father tells you, hey,
You captured Zone C.
I don't want you to go into this room. If you go into this room, you will get hurt. And I will punish you and I will punish you for disobeying. And you go, okay. But then someone comes along and says, hey, he's lying to you, you should go in there, you should go take that. And so you go and you disobey. And that's the thing. The disobedience is what got them in there. True, they were lied to, but they were also told from the beginning, and their disobedience is what got them in hot water.
Yeah, think about it like this. Let's say that your dad tells you, hey, don't play in the street. But then your best friend goes out and plays in the street and says, come on, nothing's going to happen. No cars are going to come.
So you go out and play with your friend anyway. Yeah, you were lied to. But does that mean your dad shouldn't punish you for disobedience? You broke the rule. You did what he told you not to do. And like a good father, you got spanked for it.
Yeah. Junior sibling is harsher. Like, what do you mean harsher? Lucifer got sentenced to hell. Adam and Eve, like, they were like basically made mortal. But they made mortal, but they can still get their way back into heaven.
Yeah, Adam and Eve, humanity has a chance back. Satan does not. And you might be, well, that's more hard. Like, what's more harsh?
Like,
Satan cannot get back into heaven. He will never get back into God's good graces. He officially betrayed God in every sense of the word.
yeah.
And now he's spending the rest of his existence trying to ruin the rest of God's creations.
Hey Raven, question on what you think. If you have to believe in Jesus to get to heaven, does that mean that those that who do not believe also cannot go to hell? Sorry, this is a dumb question.
Okay, try to think of it like this. All of humanity is bound for hell. That is the default. That is how you start. The moment you are kicked out of your mommy's womb, that is your end destination. Because you are sinful, you are tainted, you have sin in your heart that cannot be undone. There is nothing you can do to fix that. You are incapable of removing that taint. It's like having a stain on you, right? But you can't get the stain off no matter what you do. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. No one. That means Jesus is the only way out of your end destination. For wide is the gate that leads to destruction, but narrow is the way that leads to salvation. So that means that there's only two gates. You got two. One is really big because there's only one way out of it, and it's real narrow. Very few people will walk it. So that's the idea behind it. So when you say, if people don't believe in Jesus Christ, does that mean they also won't go to hell? They're already hell-bound. Like, that's already the direction they're going, you know. Let me check the time. Ooh, it's almost 10. I may need to pull out of this one and just go to Breach. Because I'm not having fun playing PvP right now anyway. I'm getting my butt kicked in every match. And I'm sorry, guys, that this isn't fun to watch for you guys. I know it's probably really painful watching me get clobbered in every match. But, hey, I'm bad at the game. I think we've established this. So, I have much more fun talking with you guys and just shooting the shit than I do really trying to win.
And that's why a lot of these guys are here.
I'm glad, but yeah, genuinely, I'm doing horrible tonight.
What the heck was that?
Sounds like something fell. I'm willing to bet it was the curtains. The shower curtain.
Oh, okay.
You gotta get that fixed, dude.
I didn't think it came from my room. I thought it came from
You came from behind me.
Oh, great. I didn't even touch it. Okay. Alright, so anyway, they're also like questioning, like, what's your opinion on Satan's role in hell? Is he like the punisher of the sinners, or is he the marshal of the damned?
Neither. Satan is just as much he's just as much being punished there as anyone else. Y'all gotta realize, people like to say that Satan is the king of hell. He's only the king of hell in the sense that he's probably the most powerful being there, but it's just as much his damnation as it is anyone else's. He is punished. He is being punished, and his whole goal is to get as many other people punished as he can.
Misery loves company.
See, think about it like this. He's basically that kid who did wrong, got spanked and put in the corner by his dad, and now he's running around pitching a tantrum and breaking all of his dad's stuff because he's mad at what dad did to him.
Yep.
That's essentially what Satan is.
He is throwing a cosmic temper tantrum.
Literally.
What do you think of Buddhism and Hinduism? Or do you know anything about it?
Fascinating religions, fascinating philosophies, and I think that there are plenty of things about Buddhism that I think are incredibly interesting. I don't subscribe to them because I see them as wishful thinking.
I have my own issues with Buddhism.
I know, but...
Not that I have any problem with like Buddhists in particular, it's just I have a problem with the philosophy behind it.
Well, like I said, it's a lot of wishful thinking.
Yep. And, okay. What is your opinion of limbo/purgatory?
I don't believe it exists.
Yep.
There's no evidence to suggest it exists in the Bible. I don't know a single verse that supports it.
Yep. Let's see. Hey, Raven, diverting the subject of history again. Did the Romans ever use bronze or gold in their armor like the Greeks supposedly did?
Probably, maybe, I don't know.
In the earlier years, they did rely on some bronze.
All right, pulling out of there. Because I'm done doing PvP for tonight. I'm not having any fun. But the nice thing about For Honor is when you're not having fun doing PvP, you can switch to PvAI and still enjoy yourself. So I'm going to do 2 Breach matches, and then that's it for tonight.
Counterpoint, Raven. Children who died don't go to hell. Yeah.
Okay, so that's what... Go ahead, Lark.
I can't remember quite what they're called. Like, but most Christian denominations have a idea of like sort of like an age of... It's like age of knowledge or anything. Like basically, there's a point like where before like
I think it's called the Age of Innocence.
Yeah.
Or the Age of Ignorance. The idea is God's not cruel. If a baby or a child who is incapable of understanding the gospel dies somehow, like through abortion or
like just happens to die before he reaches
before they reach the point where they can understand, then they do go to heaven. Because
age of accountability.
The age of accountability. That's it. The age of accountability. The idea is they will go to heaven because they could not have understood the need for the gospel. That's the difference. Because think about it like this. Think about it like this in terms of punishment. If, back to the example, Dad says don't play in the road. But let's pretend he never told me that. He never told me not to play in the road. So I go out to play in the road. And Dad pulls me out of the road. He can't punish me because I didn't know that was a rule. He never made that rule. I didn't know any better. So if you are a child and do not understand the nature of what you need to know, then yeah, so that's called the age of accountability. Very good.
Okay. Who is worse, the atheist or the Christian who guilts them? Well.
Okay. Very careful with that wording. Oh my gosh, we got Temp in. We got Temp in. I didn't invite him, but he's in.
Oh, how about that?
That is crazy. All right, well, let's who do I need to go? I'm gonna go oh, I'll show you the Teutonic Knight real quick, because I do have her. Y'all wanted to know my other warmonger look? I've got a Teutonic warmonger.
There we go.
Okay, so let me be very clear about this. I believe that a Christian who guilts or berates other people for their beliefs is wrong. Very much wrong, and probably worse because they know better. Or at least they should know better, right? But don't assume. But that also, people often say, and we actually had to talk about this earlier. When people say, "Oh well, Christians shouldn't judge because only God can judge us," and Lark, you said it best. No, we do judge, but we have to be careful how we judge because we too will be judged. So I'm not going to sit here and berate an atheist. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and wag my finger at an atheist saying you're bad, you're wrong, and you're going to hell. Because that's wrong. You shouldn't do that. Because my goal is not to berate the atheist. My goal is to help show the atheist the path to God. Because if I'm truly a child of Christ, I want them to understand God so that they can come to heaven with me. If I sit there and wag my finger and go, you're a bad person and you should know better, I'm the bad person because I'm the one keeping them from going to church and understanding because I'm being an asshole. There's wrong on both sides on that issue. There are plenty of atheists who are just fine with Christians, and then there are those who spend their lives trying to make Christians out to be Bible-thumping evildoers who just want to live in their perpetual state of superstition. And that's wrong too. I'm not here to talk about, oh, who's worse in that situation. They're both bad. They're both bad and not good ways to live your life. How miserable must your life be if you spend your whole existence telling everyone else how they're wrong?
Let's see, okay, this has been asked several times, but we keep moving past. Lark and Raven, this is a question for both of you. Which For Honor season music is your favorite?
I don't know. I guess the Black Prior.
Yeah,
It was probably my
I'm gonna have to go
favorite.
with Black
That
Friday.
one, and also the last season's music was really good too.
Yeah.
So, yep, that answered that question.
I also liked it was a bit of a different thing, but I did like the Truce of Wyverndale music to it.
Yeah, that was okay, but it got grating after a while. Mostly because it was one of the longest seasons, because the Truce of Wyverndale started about the time the coronavirus got started, so it delayed the next season. The ram has barely moved because we're all pushing the ramparts. I need to go down and help it.
Yeah, go out and help it out. Oh, what's your opinion on the Narnia series?
I liked the first 2 books. Didn't really follow it after that.
Yeah, very heavy on that allegory.
Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe I still say is okay.
Love C.S. Lewis.
Whoa, I got shot. I got shot. Oh, no.
Okay, hey Raven and Lark, this probably seems like a stupid question, but what makes going to hell so terrible? I don't think anyone wants to go, obviously, but what's horrifying about it?
Okay. The Bible makes constant references to the horrors of hell.
Lake of Fire.
Lake of Fire, the wailing and gnashing of teeth, a complete separation from God. My dad put it like this, and I think this is what scares me most about hell. If you believe that God is real, then you also believe that God created everything, and that means our sensations, our feelings, joy, pain, all that kind of the things you feel, the things you experience. God gave you these things. Your ability to see, speak, smell, touch, all these things, God gave them to you. But that's because God is active in this creation, in this world. It is His masterpiece. It's what He gives us. Okay, now you're completely separated from God. So that means you don't have these things. You don't have joy. You don't have happiness. You don't have feeling. You are nothing. It is a world of nothing but agony. A world of nothing but separation. And the knowledge, I think even more so, that you had time and the opportunity to get away from it. The time and opportunity to gain eternal happiness, gain eternal life. You had that opportunity to reach it, and you squandered it. I think that's what's so scary. The idea that you could be eternally separated from everything that God gave you good in this world, and knowing that you had the chance to avoid this outcome. It's kind of like what happened with Ebenezer Scrooge in Christmas Carol, when he meets with the ghost of Christmas Future and he sees his own gravestone. The recognition that I had the opportunity to avoid this outcome, and I didn't take it. But luckily for Ebenezer, he wakes up the next day and has the opportunity to amend his ways. When you go to hell, no, you don't get that wake-up moment. I think that's what scares me most about hell.
And Spinosaurus 101 says, all religions incorporate some level of discipline in life to follow as well, which I personally think is respected regardless of the religious inclinations. Thank you for your responses.
Oh, for sure. Like, here's the thing. We are Christian, and we do have a firm belief in our faith. We will not be swayed on it. We don't disrespect other people. In fact, I'll be real honest. I would rather a person have a faith in something than in nothing. Because, to my way of thinking, having a faith in something, even if I don't necessarily agree with what you have faith in or the deity that you worship, at least it establishes some kind of discipline or moral foundation or code that you live by. And that can often be a world away from... You know the Assassin's Creed, the big creed that they have, nothing is true, everything's permitted? I think that's one of the most terrifying creeds in this world. Because the very first notion is nothing is true. Therefore, there is no truth. There is no belief structure. There is no solid foundation to build your identity on. Because nothing's true. Basically, you make your own truth. But your own truth requires it to be yours, and you are imperfect. So any truth you create is automatically flawed by its very nature. And then everything is permitted. Well, then, if you have no truth to build your foundation on, then yes, everything is permitted because you have no accountability. You have no responsibility. You can do whatever you want without fear of consequence. Because what is there to fear? What is there to fear if you don't believe in anything? If you don't believe that you have any credo or any ideology or any purpose to it all, why should you be afraid of doing anything? It's the ultimate nihilist perspective. It's the idea that nothing matters, there is no consequence for my actions, there's no responsibility, I can do what I want, whenever I want, however I want, and damn anyone who tries to tell me otherwise.
Another point that I want to go with Eric's Spinosaurus is that I appreciate that you guys are willing to ask these questions in the first place.
Oh, yeah, definitely, Lark. I agree with that.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Like, I went off on pastor mode. And
Yeah, well, nothing wrong with going off on a tangent there, but the thing is, like, it's nice to see just like, hey, I don't agree with you. I believe something else entirely, but I'm curious to know your train of thought and logical thing. And that's where you get true good understanding, and you get that's where you learn.
I'm not going to demand that everyone in my community believes the same thing I do. I'm not here to force any conversion.
Now, me, on the other hand, no.
But the fact is, the fact that you're even willing to ask questions and have your minds and hearts open to new possibilities, I mean, that's already more mature than what most people are willing to do.
Oh, that's a good joke. Some nihilists really annoy me, like, who died and made you God? That's a great joke. That is good on you guys. That's great. Yeah. But Raven, thank you for talking about that. I was having a difficulty with an argument with a girl who couldn't live with the fact that I was an atheist. And my point of that is, like, I actually, when I was, last year when I was still teaching, I mean, I still am a teacher, but I was just on break, I came across, like, as I was setting up for school, there was one girl arguing with two of her friends, like, what do you mean you're not Christian? And it's like, you're going to go to hell if you don't do that. And I pulled her over and I said, listen, those are your friends, and they're not going to stay that way much longer if you keep talking to them like that. That's not the way you're going to win people over. That's not the way you want to
I found that talking about hell and damnation and all that isn't the way you get people to believe. You get people to believe by talking about love.
Yeah.
That's why whenever I try to convert someone or try to help someone understand, I don't go to Revelation. I go to John. And I go to John 3:16 to start off with. For God so loved the world. Because a lot of people think that Christianity is the faith of bigots. It's the faith of the intolerant. But I'm like, what's the most famous verse in the entire Bible? For God so loved the world that he gave his only son so that whoever believes in him won't perish but have eternal life. And then many people don't even think about the next verse right after that, John 3:17. For God did not bring his son into this world to condemn the world, but to save it. You know, it's like it is not the faith of bigotry. It's the faith of love and salvation. The chance to save our souls. That's what I think I love so much about being Christian. Is it demands nothing of us but love and compassion.
This is an interesting one. They're talking about the ancient astronaut theory. You know, the idea that, aliens did everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that, believe it or not, there's a, alternate history hub, I think there's a good video on that, and also another YouTuber called, Knowing Better, I believe they're called. They also discuss the history of it too.
I'm not going to go into that because I don't really care for that kind of discussion.
That's like a late night history channel watching right there.
Yeah, I don't really go into that kind of stuff. I just kind of do my own thing.
Okay, Raven, logistics question. Why do you light heavy when clearing minions lane against minions when you can take a light approach?
I don't know. Just always been the way I do it. I mean, like I said, guys, I'm not good at the game. I just do my own thing. Whether it works or not, I don't know. I just kind of roll with it.
Okay. Hey, Raven, what if you're genuinely a good person, but you aren't religious? What happens?
I answered that question earlier. There's nothing you can do that washes away the stain.
Like, you're saved by faith, not by works.
Yeah, that's in the book of James, I believe. We are saved by faith, not by works.
Because, the thing is, it's like you can be good, but also, who's defining what's good?
Right.
And also, another thing is, I think this guy commented earlier, it was just I don't think it's right to punish someone for not believing. But the thing is, it's not the lack of belief that gets you, it's the sin. And the thing is, everyone's screwed because of the fact they sinned in their life.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a misunderstanding. You're not going to hell because you don't believe. You're going to hell because that's the consequence of sin.
It's basically...
The belief is what saves you from that.
It's imagine like basically, you're on death row. However, somebody comes by and says, hey, I've paid your bail. I've paid your way out. All you have to do is accept my deal. And you say, I don't feel comfortable with that deal. And they say, okay, that's fine.
That's a great analogy.
But the guy that's saying like, hey, I was going to offer you this deal out, he's not responsible. Like that's not his fault. You're going in. We put our own selves up on the chopping block. We're given a way out. That is where our deal. Okay. Let's see. This sounds dumb, but hey, Ravenlock, do you believe animals go to heaven? Just curious.
I don't believe animals have a soul.
Except our old dog Dixie.
She does. She doesn't have
She's
it. Dixie's waiting on us. She's up there.
Actually, there's this great like back and forth between like a Catholic and Presbyterian church on their billboards, where it's like all dogs go to heaven. No, they don't read the Bible. It's like all our dogs go to heaven. Dogs don't have souls. Read the Bible. It's like a free dog soul with every conversion. It's like
that's great. That's great theological back and forth. I like that.
Seriously, did the guy who came up with the Assassin's ideology read Nietzsche's writing on the subject of the Ubermensch IRL? I don't know if that might have been part of the influence from it. The original idea that nothing is true, everything is true, did come from the actual assassin, or the assassin. However, it was not used in the way the assassins used it. It was basically a sort of a justification for
why they killed people.
Yeah, not just why they killed people, but why the head of the creed could do whatever the heck he wanted.
Basically, the idea, here's the thing: if your leader does questionable things, you have to ask, hey man, why are you doing this? So he just makes up, oh well, according to my creed, nothing is true and everything's permitted, therefore, yeah, I can do whatever I want. But the Assassin's Creed games try to make it sound like it's some deep wisdom. I believe Ezio said it best. The closest I've ever heard anyone try to get it. The idea that nothing is true means that we are not bound to the truth presented by society or civilization, and we must make our own truth. And the idea that everything's permitted means that we must be prepared to do what's necessary to save society and civilization, even if that means doing things that society itself doesn't agree with, like murder or kill. And I'm like, yeah, you say that, but at the same time, you know what you're about.
Favorite mythological creature?
Centaurs, probably. I've always loved centaurs. Dated one in college, y'all know.
I hope you guys get that.
She was awesome. She was a great girlfriend.
My problem is she was always sick.
She was always a little hoarse, you know.
Okay.
She goes back to Scotland. I don't get to talk to her again for a while, but we're still friendly, you know.
Oh no, that was the mermaid.
No, that was the mermaid. She was okay, but you know, it was hard to close the distance. Go
the distance is the Greek nymph.
Yeah. I also like dragons. Dragons are cool. I've never dated a dragon, I'll be honest.
That'd be a drag.
I'll
go kill myself now. Excuse me. But in all seriousness, mine's probably dragon. Just because
dragons are cool, like no question.
Dragons followed closely by griffins, just because when I was a little kid, dragon make Lark happy. That's all there is to it.
All right, we'll do one more, and then that'll call it for the night. I haven't played a Wulin all night. I need to play a Wulin. I'm going to wrap things up with a Wulin.
Don't kill yourself, Lark. We need you to suffer through more of the AC series.
Let's see.
Ever watch Good Omens? I've never heard of it.
Never heard of it. Never heard of it. Let's go Tiandi.
Oh, okay. So, Raven, you also helped me out that made me feel like I was the bigger person because I could accept someone of a different faith, but she couldn't accept me for having my own beliefs or being an atheist, and she thought I was being pathetic and bitter. No, I think that person has their own things they need to work on.
They need to work things out.
They need to work on some emotional maturity. Because one of the things about taking on any sort of belief system is you have to understand that not everyone follows that lock and step. And you can't get offended or upset when someone says, I don't agree. That's part of emotional maturity.
Actually, it's ironic. Most of the time when I see atheists who come after us for our beliefs, I find them to be incredibly petty and immature. So it's like, I see the flaws in both sides of that aisle. I've seen some very mature, very friendly and accepting atheists who are willing to accept people who don't believe the same things they do. And I've seen some very mature and accepting Christians who are willing to accept that too. I don't mind the two having a conversation where they try to help the other understand their side, maybe convince the other of their side, but calling the other backwards or horrible or evil or stupid or anything like that doesn't convince anybody of anything. It doesn't make me want to believe you, and it doesn't make you want to believe me. So why even bother with it?
Yeah, like, what does the Bible have to say about dinosaurs and and creatures from 65 million years ago? That's not the purpose of the Bible. The Bible's not a biology book.
Yeah, the biology doesn't teach us about biology or about...
It's not a science manual. It's supposed to help us reach salvation by giving us, the gospel, the word of God, the law.
The idea behind it is the Old Testament taught us the history of God's children and about how God established his covenant with his people. The New Testament teaches us about how Jesus fulfilled the promises of God and granted us salvation through him. So those are the two ways to look at the Bible, or the two parts of the Bible. The Bible isn't about, oh, well, here's some dinosaur history for you. Actually, I read this great book. I forget what it's called now, but basically the plot of the book is that this woman is planning on divorcing her husband because he recently converted to Christianity and she just can't stand him anymore for it because he's such a Bible beater now and she just hates him. So she gets on this plane to fly to visit her family, and she sits next to this guy who seems really friendly and nice, and it turns out the big twist, if you don't mind, is that he's Jesus. He's sitting on there and she's having a conversation with Jesus. Because she needs to understand what her husband is doing, that kind of thing. And there's this little boy in the seat in front of them playing with dinosaur toys, and he wants to show Jesus his dinosaur toys, and Jesus is playing with the kid, like talking about the dinosaurs. And when the kid goes to go talk to his mom, Jesus laughs and he says, kids and dinosaurs, I do believe that dinosaurs were created by God specifically to entertain children. And I'm like, wouldn't that be funny if that was the reason God made dinosaurs? But no, that's not why I think God made dinosaurs. I think God made dinosaurs for fossil fuel. I think that's legit why he made them. I think he made them because he knew in the future we were going to use their fossils and bones and leavings to create our fuel in the future. I believe that is the reason.
I think it's much simpler to say dinosaurs are cool.
Or maybe God just said, you know what, these are cool.
I know the guy that makes it is an atheist, but it was genuinely funny. Like, God's like, I made this great thing called dog. I love this thing. I'm gonna put it on Earth. You can't. There's a bunch of dinosaurs there. It'll never survive. You're right. Blow them all up. Oh, we got the chat excited. Oil? Did someone
say oil?
United States is into the chat.
United States is into the chat.
And James Price says, Raven, I like that you're mature with the topic of religion. I think I'll pick up the Bible again, looking faith.
I would recommend starting in the book of John. It's always a good place to start. That's where I was encouraged to start when I was doing my reading of the Bible. The book of John is a great one. Start there. Ask questions. Definitely ask questions. I would recommend getting a Bible with some annotations and notes at the bottom. I have 3 Bibles. I have a Korean Bible, I have a study Bible, and I have a little handbook Bible that I just use to carry with me on camping trips and stuff like that. But I love the study Bible because it'll have notes at the bottom which provide context to some verses that I don't understand or feel are strange. And it'll explain the meaning behind the verses or what's happening in the scripture, like stuff like that. I highly recommend a good study Bible. Those are fantastic. But yeah, definitely take some time. But more than just reading the Bible, ask questions, And even have doubts. It's okay to have doubts. I tell people, doubting is okay as long as you don't fester on the doubt and seek answers. Talk to spiritual advisors. Talk to leaders. Talk to your local pastor or someone you trust about it. Don't just wallow in, oh, I doubt. I guess it must not be true.
Yeah, it's like seek answers. But at the same time, Spinosaurus has a great point and says, God said y'all need fried chicken and then proceeded to make dinosaurs so birds could evolve from them. Absolutely great. I love that. I love it. He's just
And
like, I made a T-Rex. Why? Chicken.
God makes no mistakes.
The long game. We're playing the long game. Do you think... But that does beg the question. What does T-Rex taste like?
He would taste like chicken.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We in the South, we have lots of lines where we use God for like teasing insults or stuff, like where we say, God may love you, but we all think you obnoxious.
Dr. Lou.
Dr. Lou.
Ideally, thank you for helping me. The girl was technically in the wrong and boosting my self-esteem. I needed that dearly and didn't. Have a good night, man.
Have a good night. Have a good night. Don't hold that victory over her. The wise man accepts victory gracefully. The wise man accepts, because here's the thing, even though she was in the wrong in how she acted, I think that quite often when a Christian tries to convert you, they're not doing it out of hate for what you believe. They're doing it out of fear for where your soul is going. They care about you, and they want to help you. She did it the wrong way, no question. I agree with you there. She did it in the worst way you could. But I believe that it is very important to recognize that when a Christian is trying to convert you, it's not because they think you're inferior, it's because they want to save you. And whether you agree with them or not is your decision. And the way she acted was the wrong way to help you. But I don't want to blame anyone for saying, hey, let me try to help you understand this because I care about you and I want to help you. I think it was that the comedian duo, what were they named?
It was like the magician duo.
What were they, Penn and Teller? Or?
I think it's Penn and Teller.
Penn and Teller, but one of them was doing a bit where he talked about Christians trying to convert him, and he said, here's the thing. He said he was an atheist, but he said, but anytime a Christian tries to convert me, I always thank them profusely because what they're doing is they're trying to help me. They see themselves as helping me. Even if I don't agree with a thing they're saying, I know that deep down they want to help me, and so that's what matters.
Alright. Oh, source for your thumbnail or your unpatriotic says DM.
Source for my thumbnail or my... Oh! You mean the girl in my thumbnail? You mean Patriot Player? Yeah, okay, so I guess I gotta explain this because it's been a while since I explained this backstory. Okay, so my friend Hannah, who is an artist who I've been friends with for years now, we met a long time ago. She likes to draw pictures, but she prefers to draw girls. She prefers drawing female forms. And a long time ago, she found out an embarrassing story about me in my past. And she decided to use that to tease me by drawing me as a female a lot. It turned into a running joke where we've invented this list. We have officially made a list of outfit designs that she would draw female me in. So we named the female version of me Claire, and she now draws Claire in different outfits and designs and looks from that list. And one of the looks from the list was a 4th of July special called Patriot Player. And so she looks like an Uncle Sam version of female me. In fact, she's drawn a lot of female pictures of me for the fun of it. And she has more to go because the list grows every now and then because we'll get a new idea or she'll get a new idea and she'll just add to it. In return, I have a list of stories that she wants me to write or work on, and I do those from time to time. So it's kind of a give and take. And at first, it was kind of embarrassing, kind of like, why are you always drawing me as a chick? But after a while, it just kind of came to be a joke between us. We just kind of have fun with it now.
Yeah. Alright, let's see. Yeah, happy that you like the thumbnail.
Yeah, the thumbnail. I like the thumbnail too, and I love the I love Patriot Claire. It's one of my favorites. It's not my favorite one that she's drawn of Claire, but it's up there. It's a good one. She would tell you, I don't like it. I could have done it better. That's Anna's thing. She's never satisfied. She's always like, no, I could have done it better. I don't like it. I'm not satisfied.
Swan, not gonna lie, Raven. Female you do make me feel some type of way. This is a joke. We figured it was, but we do appreciate it.
And you know what? I don't blame you for feeling some type of way.
I mean, Hannah draws well. What can we say? Mordhau or Chivalry 2?
I've only played Chivalry 2, not Mordhau, so I'm going to say Chivalry 2.
Well, I'm gonna say Chivalry 2 because if Mornad's so popular, why isn't there a Mornad 2?
Ah. I see someone sneaking over here. I know you don't. I'm gonna get that flag first. Oh no, they're after me. Cover me, Tim. Oh God.
So is Claire going to wear Ruth's armor?
No, Ruth is her own character. She's not Claire. Hannah's already drawn a picture of Ruth.
So which was better, the Disney Star Wars trilogy or My Little Pony?
Oh. My Little Pony's infinitely better. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I haven't seen much of it, but I have seen a few episodes of My Little Pony, and
Because there's that one weird girl in college.
yeah, we were friends, and she convinced me to watch it with her, and look, it's harmless by every metric. It's completely harmless. Way too colorful and girly for me, but it's harmless. But Disney Star Wars is cringe beyond all shadow of a doubt. Look, here's the thing. If you said, all right, you have to watch all 3 Disney Star Wars movies or watch the entire first 2 seasons of My Little Pony, I'd be like, all right, let's watch My Little Pony. I cannot stand the new Star Wars movies. I can't stand them.
Well, one does give you an appreciation for how good it is. You should do For Honor Legends video of your Elder Scrolls characters. That
would actually be kind of cool. Maybe when I
maybe you could set like in the ESO universe, like that would work. Because it's like you can't have like 90 different Dragonborns. Hey Raven, has Hannah made a female raider yet?
Has Hannah made a female? No, Hannah hasn't made a female. She doesn't draw my For Honor character. She only drew Ruth because Ruth was my most popular and she liked Ruth's design. She might draw a Peacekeeper because Peacekeeper's her favorite For Honor hero. She might. I don't know if she'd want to. Right now, Hannah's got a lot of designs to do. She's got a long list.
Raven and Lark, have you ever played Far Cry 5? We both have.
We both have. We have.
If so, how do you feel about Joseph Seed's beliefs on God?
Oh, he's a heretic.
Total heretic. And the Eden's Gate as a cult is going to be on the Lamentations eventually. And I'll go into it more there, but Joseph Seed has a lot of the makings of a false prophet.
Yes.
Because you'll notice the big thing about Joseph Seed is there's more focus on him than anything around God.
Play through the game. He never once says Jesus'
I don't think
name.
he mentions Jesus once.
He never says Jesus' name once. He mentions God. He never says Jesus because he makes himself their Jesus. He puts himself on the pedestal of Jesus.
Yeah. And I will actually, when I actually get to them, I will make a few references to other false prophets because there was a recent one out in like on the border between Utah and Arizona a couple years back.
But yeah, Joseph Seed is a heretic. Whenever people make jokes about how this is heresy, we need to burn it. It's usually joking. In the case of Joseph Seed, if he actually existed and his thing was actually going on, I would legit say that needs a crusade.
Like, why do people believe that dinosaurs existed with humans? Because they saw the Flintstones and thought it was a documentary.
Yeah, literally.
That's why.
That has no theological grounding. I don't know why they think that.
Hey Raven, do you think we're gonna get a new launch Primark anytime soon? I kind of hope.
No. I mean, I wanna do another, but it takes time for me to think.
I think they're asking if they'll release one.
Oh no, they're not gonna release any launch. I don't think. Oh, you mean like one returning, like Gilliman?
Yeah.
I hope they do. There's been a hint that they might have Dorn return. There's been a slight hint that Dorn might be coming back, but I don't know how true that is. Oh, and for those wondering, Hannah has drawn Claire images. I know that this is back to a previous topic, but it's something that just came to mind. Hannah has drawn Claire images that are some merch on the Teespring store. So definitely check that out. All right, let's pull out of that. That was fun. All right, that wraps up the gaming for tonight. Let me go ahead and edit some heroes, check out how far I am in the battle pass, and we can answer some more questions. But this was very entertaining. So let's take a look at the battle pass first. Lark, let me know when we get a good question.
All right.
Oh, good.
Let's see.
Ooh,
Sylvander says, oh my, I just realized he actually doesn't say Jesus once. I've never noticed, and I beat it 3 times. Yeah, the more you know.
He never says the name of Jesus once, and that tells you a lot about what he actually believes.
Yeah, well, the thing is, typically, when you go into play Far Cry 5, you're not so much focused on Joseph, you're focused on just having a good old time in Montana. And that's what the game does well.
Yeah. Russian Badger said it best. It has a really bad ending, but
Dang
it's the experience that really matters. Ooh, I need to get that.
Getting buzzed off a wild turkey and then parachuting off of an ATV. You're dang right.
You goddamn right. Pretty cool.
Hey, Raven, do you believe religion and science can coexist?
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
No, totally. I totally believe they can exist.
Yeah, they can coexist.
That is not a problem. Religion and science often go hand in hand. In fact, many scientists have converted to Christianity because they realized that the more they tried to disprove Christianity, they found evidence to support it.
Yeah.
Like, think about this. Think about this. This is something to think about in terms of science and faith. Think about this. Have you thought to consider that if the molecules that make up oxygen were just one electron or one neutron or just slightly off from what they are, we couldn't breathe? Have you realized that Jupiter's placement in the solar system has blocked various asteroids and meteors that would have hit Earth? Have you thought about if the Earth were just a few miles closer or further from the sun, we would either burn up or turn to icicles? There are lots of aspects to our reality that are so finite and so pinpoint accurate for our survival that were they even the slightest bit off, we could not live the way we do now. In fact, one thing that I think is so funny is when I was doing a class on anatomy and how the body functions and how it works, the more I realized the body is such an intricate mechanism and it works so strangely and so amazingly to self-sustain itself. How could that not be the work of a divine artist? Because think about what evolution is at the end of the day. Not evolution, but the idea of evolution that people present as a form of creationism. The idea that creationism is wrong because it's just basically believing that a sky daddy made everything. Okay. I'm going to take a watch, right? Break it all down. Break it into 100 pieces. Break a watch, a fully functioning watch, break it into 100 pieces. Drop it into a bag. Shake that bag for 10 million years. I'm just going to keep shaking that bag for 10 million years. What are the odds that I will pull out a fully functioning watch again?
And that it'll be on time.
You know, like, how does that work? Like, what are the odds of that? And if you say astronomical, that's exactly my problem with the scientific no-God explanation. You mean to tell me it's far more likely that astronomically difficult thing happened where you shook the watch for 10 million years and got a fully functional on-time watch, or that someone built the watch?
Yeah.
You know, like, that's kind of where
There's Frank Turek, he has a series, like, I don't have enough faith to be an atheist, but, like, if you want to, like, there are certain Christian apologists that tackle into scientific discussion a little bit more, like, that's not where, like, we haven't done a lot of research into that particular area, but there are certain people who have. There was, like, one physicist that says, like, when you start, like, working in, like, astrophysics and stuff like that, and you start drinking the glass of that, there's atheism there, but you see God keep staring at you at the end of the glass. It's very interesting how that works.
Well, the way I see it is, it's like, people like to say that we don't need God because we have science. I'm like, what makes you think God can't be in science?
Hey, Raven, can you do a video on the Iron Giant?
Someday.
Perhaps.
I would need to find a topic. I don't want to just say, oh, look, here's a video about the Iron Giant. I need to find something I could talk about in it. Like, I didn't just talk about Kung Fu Panda. I talked about a philosophy present in Kung Fu Panda.
Okay. Hey, Raven, I was thinking of getting a Bible. I wanted a King James Bible for a good read. I'm a bit of a traditionalist. Is that a good choice or another?
Yeah, King James is fine, but
it will be harder to read for a modern audience.
Yeah, for a modern audience, it'll be a little harder to read. I would go with the NIV. That one's a good one.
Yeah, another, like, I think the favorite, like, when it's like, what type of Bible should I get? I think my favorite response is the one you'll read.
Yeah, get the Bible that you're going to read. Like, don't pick out a Bible just because, oh, it's the best translation. Get the one that you are going to sit down and be willing to read. Yeah, for sure.
Could God have created another solar system light years away with a planet with other humans? Yeah, that's entirely theoretically possible.
He could do it. In fact, I read this great short story about a guy who was sent to an alternate world by God to spread the message of Jesus to them. And it was cool because when he went to this world, they all spoke the same language because they never had a Tower of Babel. In the book of Genesis, it says that when all peoples lived together, they all spoke the same language and thought the same way, and they tried to prove that they were just as good as God by building a giant tower to reach up into heaven. And so God kind of trolled them by making them all speak different languages. And so they separated according to their own languages. But in this short story, the people on this planet never had the Tower of Babel, so they all speak the same language. And so this guy learned to speak it too, and he communicates with them through this language and tells them the story of Jesus. So it was actually a really neat story. I never got to finish it because it was released in a magazine subscription. Each chapter was released in a new subscription of the magazine, and I moved, or the magazine got unfinished. Or I don't know what happened there.
Oh, and somebody brought this up earlier. I have never heard of this, but if it exists, that's awesome. There's apparently a comic where Batman is a Christian and is fighting in a crusade.
That would be sick. That would be
probably Teutonic, probably.
Sorry.
Imagine Space Crusaders.
Crusaders.
That's called 40K.
Yes.
Thoughts on Joshua Graham from Fallout New Vegas? We love that dude.
He's awesome. Easily the best character.
Oh, yeah. Did they just release the new God of War?
I don't know.
Yeah, if we were talking about like the one with Boy, yeah, we played it.
I've played the God of War with the Loki thing, but I know that they're releasing a sequel to that. I don't really have any interest.
And Raven, do you like Country Ball comics?
What is Country Ball?
It's like basically where they take the flag and put it into a ball and give it like a little emotions and stuff, and they interact. I've shown you a few of them.
Oh well, I guess.
They're okay. In my personal opinion, they're okay. It just they can vary in quality greatly. Depends on who's making them. Hey, Raven, have you ever read Starship Troopers, the book?
No, I have not. Heard of it.
I have. It's an interesting read. I will say that. I believe it or not, I actually liked it more than the movie. I don't agree with it necessarily, but it's an interesting read.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Emperor from 40K?
I love it. It's so fun. Guys, I'm a Christian, but I love 40K. It's so funny to me. And people who say that 40K is awesome because it's anti-Christian, y'all ain't seeing the writing on the wall. There's a lot of Christian connections in 40K.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because like 40K, you can kind of do whatever you want with it. In that
like, take this for example. Sanguinius, he died for your sins.
Exactly.
Horus, the favorite of the emperor, betrayed the emperor and was destroyed for it.
And Jagatai Khan, he was there.
Oh my gosh, I love 40K's Emperor, the Emperor Man. It's a great meme. It's a great meme.
Yeah, honestly, I think the best thing to happen to 40K was probably the text-to-speech device.
Yes, that made it so much fun.
Yeah, that's a great gateway to get people involved, honestly.
For sure. It made me more invested, I'll be honest.
Oh yeah, I pray for the souls of the Mojave, even the Gentiles, but we can't expect God to do all the work. You're dang right. Honestly, when he runs up to you, like Joshua Graham, when he runs up to you and starts quoting about the daughter of Babylon, I get chills like, ooh.
The daughter of Babylon. I did that a little too well.
And Magnus the Red, he did nothing wrong. Well, he should have just used a dang Skype call.
You could have said, "Hey, Dad!"
I appreciate what he was trying to do, but he should have used a dang Skype call. Why were the Hebrews considered the chosen people?
Why were the Hebrews considered the chosen people? Because God chose Abraham. Abraham, the father of all Abrahamic religions. God chose him. He was a very devout and personal follower of God. Think about the timeline. Okay, so you got Adam and Eve. After Adam and Eve leave the garden, civilizations start to arise around the world, but they're all evil and twisted, and they don't do the way of God. Only Noah and his family still followed God. So God saves them as he wipes out the rest of humanity. Now Noah goes out and he is fruitful, and they multiply, they have kids. And now the world is kind of back to its bear roots, you know. Still people kind of doing their own thing. But you have Abraham, who is very staunchly devoted to God. He, his family, his house, very, very devoted to God. So God made a promise to Abraham thanks to his devotion. He said, Abraham, because of your devotion and love for me, I will make you my people, and you will have as many children as there are stars in the heavens. And Abraham said, I'm pretty old, God. That ain't gonna happen. And he said, I promise you it will. So some time passes, and these angels show up to remind Abraham, hey, we're going to grant you, God's going to grant you that promise. And Sarah, actually, his wife, says, that ain't happening. And they go, why'd you laugh? She goes, I didn't laugh. Oh, you laughed. And you're going to have a kid. So she ends up having a kid, named him Isaac, because that means laughter. And Isaac became the first son of Abraham. Well, okay, not the first, because before Isaac, there was that little issue with the slave girl. But you know what? You're not going to worry about that. We're not going to talk about that one. Because that's going to go into a whole different direction. Point is, because Abraham was the one who was devoted to God and swore his life to God when all others wouldn't, God said, I will make your people my chosen people, because I have made a covenant with you. You got to understand, when God makes a covenant, that means I am now dedicating myself to you, and because you have dedicated yourself to me. It's a promise. So when Abraham said, I dedicate myself to you, God said, and I will make your people fruitful. That's why when God sees Moses, he says, I am the God of your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The people who I chose to make great changes, you know?
Yep, and Danny's also making a point here. It's like, also, like, when it comes to Moses, he almost restarted with them because the Israelites were being very problematic. Problematic is probably the most generous word you could use to describe the Israelites.
The way God describes the Israelites is a stiff-necked people.
I mean, Israel literally means struggles with God.
That's what it means. Yeah, because, okay, so when Jacob, the third son, the third one down, so you got Abraham, then you got Isaac, then you got Jacob, who's the son of Isaac. Jacob's name literally means ankle grabber or deceiver. He is not a good person. And he struggles with God constantly. In fact, he literally struggles with God at one point, who comes down in like a humanoid form and fights him until daybreak, and then God kind of goes,
okay, I'm dislocating your head.
Think about it like an infant trying to fight his dad, right?
It's adorable.
It's adorable. God's kind of like, oh, this is cute. Kind of pointing out, I have the power here. But so he said, I will rename you Israel, which means struggles with God, because that's all Israel would do for the rest of their existence. They would basically say, oh, we're all for God, and then the next day, read the book of Judges. It's just, that's essentially what it is.
Like, God, we screwed up. All right, do this. Yay, we fixed it. We're going to rebel again. Dagnabbit.
Those Israelites, da-da-da-da-da-da.
Thor's right. It's all fun and games until God comes down for a fist fight. Exactly. He came down for the Rumble. All right, hey Raven, I may have missed your answer on this before, but how do you feel about the Assassin's Creed series attempting to make the Knights Templar look like bad people? I'm low-key, like the actual Knights Templar.
I don't blame Assassin's Creed entirely for that, because it's low-hanging fruit. When the French king disbanded the Templars, he accused them of heresies. He accused them of doing all kinds of things wrong. They accused them of baby sacrifice, lots of things really, really wrong. But the reality was, we don't know if that was actually true or not. And the king had a bias. He owed the Templars a lot of money. And it's real easy not to pay off your debt when they no longer exist. So we don't know how true a lot of those accusations were. But the thing is, the Templars, near the end of their existence, had their hands in Middle Eastern banking.
Well, not really like European. Well, they were one of the largest banks in
They had a huge bank. And because of that, people like to think that they were corrupt and evil and trying to take control of most of Europe. And so Assassin's Creed basically said, well, let's make them the de facto bad guys, since there's this whole conspiracy about them anyway. But here's why I don't like that the Templars are the primary bad guys. It's a little... I've said this before about Assassin's Creed. I think one of my biggest criticisms of it is, despite it opening every game with, this game and product was created by people of multiple faiths and beliefs. Yes, that may be true, but you do a great job of really pissing all over the parade of Christians. You've never said anything bad. Oh, don't worry, Gibson. I'll add you after this. But the opportunity, like you never diss on any other faith or belief. You always show them in their best possible light. But Christians, when was the last time you showed a good Christian in an Assassin's Creed game, or at least a good open Christian? Most of the people who you show of the cloth are not believers themselves, or they make a mockery of the cloth. And your whole ideal is that you're saying that the people who we believe in, like Jesus and Moses and all that, were just normal men who got hold of pieces of Eden and convinced people of shit. So I'm kind of like, when did you... why do you have to piss all over the parade of Christians? And even though people may say the Templars aren't necessarily Christian in the games, their phrases, may the Father of Understanding guide you. Who's the Father of Understanding? Well, the giver of knowledge, which is God. So even if they don't necessarily believe in God themselves, they still adhere to a godly principle. So I don't like the fact that the Templars are the primary bad guys. I don't mind in the first few games where it's like the Templars are still kind of recognized, but as you go further into it, can't they change the name? Can't we recognize them as something else?
Well, so they kind of are Abstergo now, but I think we should call them the Society of Greg. That makes sense to me.
Sure.
Alright.
Alright, a few more questions and we gotta go.
Alright, Raven, what do you think about people saying Jesus was a communist?
I think they're liars and they don't understand Jesus.
They probably don't understand much of communism either.
They probably don't understand communism. Okay, so they call Jesus a communist because they think he said to share. Jesus did say to share with those less fortunate.
Not at gunpoint.
But not at gunpoint and not at a government-mandated level. Jesus taught us to be charitable, not for the government to make us charitable.
Like, yeah, you should be, like, the idea is, like, you should be giving because it's the right thing to do and you want to show love to other people, not because, hey, government mandate, or hey, the commune dictates.
Actually, Jesus also said that the man who does not work should not eat. That's teaching a solid work ethic, the idea that you should work for what you have. He also taught the idea of having property. And communism wouldn't support that because everything you own should go to the government.
Yeah, the idea is people will, like, all sorts of groups of people will try and take Jesus and sort of fit him into the framework of whatever political ideology they're trying to push at that certain time. It's not an uncommon thing. And it's not just Jesus. They'll do this with other religious
They'll do this with anybody they can. They'll say that Muhammad or Jesus or Buddha or whoever, they'll just say, this person fits our political ideology because blank. And they'll cherry pick some verse from the Bible without ever understanding it.
Let's see. Any other good ones? There was a bot in chat we had to squash real quick, but...
No, it's okay. We're nearing the end of this anyway, so...
I see the Templars as mostly innocent. I would agree with that. I would think the Templars probably, like, they were an easy scapegoat.
They're just an easy villain to create. Especially for the first Assassin's Creed game, where it's taking place in the Third Crusade. Just make the Templars the bad guys. I don't agree with it, but you know what? Easy bad guy. But it's just the fact that they've kept them the bad guy this long.
Yeah, well, they did try and, like, create, like, the Order of the Ancients to work in, like, the prequel games, but...
Yeah.
It's kind of like Cult of Cosmos was batshit crazy, but they were fun to kill.
For sure, for sure.
Opinion on Ubisoft's abuse allegations?
I don't know anything about that.
I don't know enough about it to make a comment about that. We may look into that later.
Not only... I don't know. Anything else before we call it?
Alright, let's see. Thanks to the new season of For Honor reminded me of the story of Moses, so I ask now, did the ancient Egyptians actually enslave the Hebrews, or is that an exaggeration?
Okay, great question, and this is something that's been a topic of debate for a long time. What's the name of that YouTuber that, I keep forgetting his name, the one who brought this up in like a long video?
Which one?
Red,
Overly Sarcastic Production?
No, the Red, the guy who responds to all those shorts.
Oh, Red Pen Logic?
Red Pen Logic. He did a great video talking about this, the existence of the Hebrews in Egypt. According to the Bible, what happened was Jacob was sold into slavery. No, not Jacob, I'm sorry. Joseph. Joseph was sold into slavery in Egypt. There he was able to solve a dream that that Pharaoh had that helped warn him of a coming disaster. As a result, he was made a very highly influential person in Pharaoh's household. He was literally second in command to Pharaoh himself. So Joseph brought his family over to Egypt, and thus they grew and multiplied, and the Hebrews had a great presence in Egypt. But over time, the Egyptians became afraid of what the Hebrews could do if they decided to revolt, so they decided to make them into slaves to keep them bogged down. And now many people have said there's no evidence to suggest that they were ever slaves to Egypt. However, there is some archaeological evidence to suggest that something akin to their story happened. For example, if you look at ancient archaeological references of Canaanite cities where the Hebrews lived, some of their house models are very similar to houses from Goshen, which is where the Hebrews were said to have stayed when they lived in Egypt, in the area known as Goshen. Also, there's been recorded findings of chariot wheels and pieces of chariot debris found in the Red Sea, where it was said that Pharaoh and his entire military were crushed by the weight of the Red Sea. Also, it's important to note that many historical scholars believe that the Pharaoh who ruled Egypt at the time that Moses would have shown up was Ramses II, who is widely considered the best Pharaoh. But after Ramses dies, Egypt never rises to that level of power again, and in fact, that's when the Bronze Age collapse starts, and Egypt becomes a pariah of what it used to be, mostly being a subservient nation state to other powers like Rome later on.
Well, yeah,
So,
Babylonian.
and God said in Exodus, "I will break Egypt, and they will never rise to what they were again." In fact, he says, the whole reason you have the power you do is just so I can show the world my superiority, just so that I can show the world my authority. I've risen you up for this purpose. So, I think there's a lot of evidence to suggest it. Now, do you want to have a discussion about the archaeological findings? There's a lot of discussion we can have, but just saying, there's no evidence, there is evidence.
I think the concept, like the fact that there's a Passover, like the Passover celebration is carried on. I think it's clearly referencing something you want to say. I'm not sure it's exactly accurate to like how the Bible says. There's an argument to be made for that. Some have speculated that the Israelites weren't necessarily enslaved to particular people, but they were like more of like treated as a client state, subservient to the Egyptian pharaoh. Which there's an interesting argument for that, because some have postulated what had happened is Joseph became popular, or rather gained power during one of the interregnum periods in Egyptian history, where basically, like, I believe it was like the Hyksos or another nomadic group had taken over, conquered Egypt, and they were in power. So they were foreigners in Egypt, but they were the ruling dynasty. And so Joseph gained power under them. And then when the native Egyptians took back control, they looked on the Israelites as foreigners and treated them with mistrust, and saw that they were growing rapidly, and therefore that's why they put them in the status that they were in.
Right, but I think another point that you brought up is the fact that the Passover is so widely respected, and the fact that the Israelites later on came to distrust the Egyptians. I mean, where did that come from? You know, like what? Like, I think that the fact that there is so much acceptance of this proves, at least to some degree, that some part of it has to be true.
Like I think there's more to it than some people are willing to give credit to. But I understand the skepticism.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's like, what do you think about the story element or the story theme, power corrupts?
I think it's fine. I think there's truth to it. I do think that power can corrupt. I do think that there is some truth to the idea that power can be corrupting. I think that it's wrong to say that all power corrupts by inherent nature of the fact that it is there. I don't think that power corrupts by its very nature, but I think that people who give themselves to power run the risk of being corrupted by it.
Yep.
All right, let's do 2 more questions and we'll call it, because it's getting close to 11.
All right. So, I love the Joseph, the King of Dreams movie, especially the song You Know Better Than I that's in it. Yeah, that's a good movie. Not as good as, say, the
Prince of Egypt is better, but yeah, for sure.
Movie. Yeah. I wish DreamWorks would go back and make more of stuff like that. That was really good.
That was good, for sure.
All right. This is less of a question, but it's more of a request. Like, they want us to play Unity. We'll get to Unity.
We'll get to it in time.
Give it a chance. Not everyone is fanatically dedicated to the Creed. That's why I love Arno. He gets kicked out of the Order because he killed too many Templars. I have to go back and... I've beaten Unity once before, and it's been a while, though, so I'm going to have to... Like, I'm the guy that's going back and playing it for the tier, so I'm going to refresh myself on it. There were things I liked about Unity, and there were things I didn't like, but we'll get to that.
We'll get to it.
What was your question, Jaguar? Hey, Raven, what heroes do you think will be put in the Viking faction when they run out of Viking-themed heroes? That's what the Outlander faction.
That's what the Outlander is. That's what the Outlanders are here for, because so that they don't run out of new heroes to add, they're adding heroes from other cultures.
All right. Do you believe in the Nephilim?
You mean the children of angels and people?
From, like, the Book of Enoch?
I think it's mentioned in Genesis too.
Okay, let's see. Lark, do you like Yes Man? I think he's funny. What is your opinion on the Darksiders game series?
Not at all historically or theologically accurate, but cool. Looked neat. In fact, the idea of it wasn't Pestilence or Conquest or whatever her name was female.
Yeah, well, instead of like because they had war, then they had death, but they instead of having famine and pestilence, it was like fury and strife.
Those aren't.
Let
the
me
last
go around
two.
as Nurgle. Let pestilence go in there.
Yeah, Hannah actually drew her own designs for the Four Horsemen.
You may want to post those at some point.
Yeah, I'll post that somewhere.
Maybe in an update video.
Maybe in an update video. We'll see. I've got the update video coming up on Monday. All right, last question, then we gotta go.
All right.
Last question, because we've been on too long.
All right.
Way too long.
We've already answered that one, Levi. Not today, but like it was another video. Opinion on the Republic of Poland? You mean the modern one?
Different question. I don't have an opinion.
Well, I like Poland.
I mean, Poland's fine. I don't have an issue with it.
Are the Four Horsemen evil or just a force of justice?
That's a topic of debate. On the one hand, you could argue that they're evil because they're harbingers of the apocalypse, but on the other hand, you could argue that they're just a natural result of the apocalypse. So it depends on your view of it. The apocalypse has to happen to bring about the end, so that God's children can be brought to heaven, and the new kingdom of God can be brought forth. So on that sense, they're necessary, but no one is happy that they're there. So I guess it really depends on your perspective.
All right. I think that's it.
All right. Well, in any case, thank you guys so much for watching. I know that tonight wasn't great in the gaming sense. I didn't really have many good matches.
We had some good discussion.
But we had some fun discussion that turned more theological than I expected it to. So just a couple things that I want to say before we go. Next Assassin's Creed Ranked is on its way. Working on the Warlord. Here's a history video. I am also working on the next For Honor and Glory chapter, but it's going slower than I would like, so we'll see when that comes out. Thank you guys for voting in the poll to decide the next Legends video. It will be Peacekeeper, so I'll be working on that. So I'm glad that y'all came tonight. We had some fun discussions. Look forward to Monday when I release a new update video, and we will be talking about what's coming in July and what my goals are for July, as well as some major, and I do mean major changes to the channel. Don't worry, Gibson, I won't forget to add you before I turn it off. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for everything y'all have done and for keeping this channel so awesome. And I will see you in my next video.